So before we start, I just wanted to ask from last class, there was a question in 2023 GS paper 1. Explain the role of geographical factors towards the development of ancient India.
So, in the overview session, we discussed the role of geographical factors, that how Himalayas saved northern India from foreign invasion. Then the geography of northwestern area, open passage, it resulted into foreign invasion. Then the Deccan Plateau is full of minerals. That is why you will see that cotton plantation, these things promoted economy, and the coastal areas of India promoted trade and commerce. And in this manner, you will see that the geography of India promoted the polity, economy, as well as religious factors since ancient times. Then the fertile plains of Magad, like Magad proved beneficial for Indian economy, and because of its iron ores and Gangetic basin, it resulted into agricultural surplus. So these things you have to mention, because in 2023 this question was asked in mains examination. And one more question was there, the features of Vedic period, which you have already written, okay, which we have already discussed, and the prevalent feature which are still there in Indian society. Getting my point? So all these questions you can write down from your notes only. Clear? Means, but these are the perspective from art and culture also. Society is a part of culture also. Clear? That is why UPSC asked this question. Clear? Now, Buddhism, founder Gautam Buddha, original name Siddhartha. Now he belongs to the clan called as Shakya. Shakya clan. His father was the king whose name was Shuddhodhan. So when Buddha was about to born, one Brahmin came in the court of Shuddhodhan, and he did a prophecy that either your son will become a great ruler, that is Chakravartin Samrat, or he will become a saint. Clear? And then mother Mahamaya. Mahamaya died after the birth of Buddha, and then his foster mother was Prajapati Gautami. Prajapati Gautami. Birthplace Lumbini. Kapilvastu. And year was around 563 BC. So that is why Buddha is also called as Shakya Muni. He is also called as Shakya Muni. Now, this Lumbini was the Republican kingdom. It was the Republican kingdom. Now, there are various events with respect to Buddha. So, before the birth of Buddha, Mahamaya saw a dream of white elephant. Clear? And at that time, Brahmical supremacy was there everywhere in North India. That is why the birth of Buddha is associated with lotus. Clear? That means darkness was everywhere, just like a mud. Lotus kahan par nikalta hai? Keechad mein. Getting my point? So the birth of Buddha, the symbol of birth is elephant and lotus. This is the first event. First event. Because Brahmin already informed Shuddhodhan that either he will become a great samrat or saint. That is why his father never let him outside the palace. Clear? So one day, Siddharth went out of palace, and since he was curious from his childhood, so he saw four things. Old man, sick person, then a dead body, clear? And then he started thinking that what is the purpose of life? Okay, so what does it mean? Clear? These things, these questions were there in his mind. And then he saw a saint who was doing meditation. His face was very calm. And since then only, he decided to find the cause and cure and the purpose of life. Clear? So Buddha got married at an early age. And his wife was Yashodhara. And he had a son whose name was Rahul. And later he was also converted to Buddhism. Draw these things. Clear? So one more thing, Mahaprajapati Gautami was the first lady who was allowed in Buddhist Sangh. Getting my point? You can just mention Mahaprajapati Gautami, his foster mother.
Sir, your voice is not audible.
So you're not audible.
So I was telling that one day he decided to leave the palace, and at the age of 29 he left palace and luxurious life. So this is the second event, which is called as renunciation. Renunciation. And the symbol is horse. Symbol is horse. Now he was looking for a guru. So he visited Sarnath. He visited Sarnath, where he met Alara Kalma. Alara Kalma was the guru of Buddha as well as Mahavira also. And Buddha learned meditation from Alara Kalma. And after that, the group of Brahmins, he met group of Brahmins, and Brahmins asked him to do meditation without taking anything, that is food and water. And Buddha fell ill. That is why he consumed food and water, and then he was not supported by Brahmins. Now from here you will see in Buddhism Madhyam Marg. Madhyam Marg. Buddha learned Madhyam Marg. Now Madhyam Marg says that don't do extreme of anything. Getting my point? Like Buddhism talks about non-violence, but how Buddha died? Because Buddha consumed meat in Kushinagar, because that meat was offered by one of the disciple of Buddha who was iron smith. So Buddha consumed that meat, and then Ananda asked, why did you consume this meat? So he said, because it was offered by my disciple throughout love and affection. Getting my point? So this is called as Madhyam Marg. And when you see Jainism, Jainism talks about extreme non-violence, that you cannot practice agriculture also. This is the main reason Buddhism was more liberal in nature and Jainism was radical in nature. That is why Buddhism spread outside of India, but Jainism remained in India only. This is the main reason. So whosoever foreign rulers came in India, they adopted Buddhism rather than Jainism. Clear? So you can just mention here Buddha learned Madhyam Marg or middle path. Middle path. and then he visited Bodh Gaya, and then he started meditation under the Bodhi tree. Bodhi tree was people tree. People tree. And after 49 days, that is at the age of 35, 35, you can just write down here. At the age of 35, he received enlightenment. Getting my point? And Siddhartha came to be called as Buddha. Buddha means awakened one. Siddhartha came to be called as Buddha. Buddha means awakened one. Buddha, his followers started calling him Buddha. Getting my point? Awakened one. Clear? 49 days under this people tree. Now, Buddha was thrown out by the Brahmins from Sarnath. अब तुम्हारे कोई भी रिलेटिव्स तुम्हें कह रहे हैं कि यूपीएससी नहीं निकलेगा और निकालने के बाद तुम सबसे पहले किससे मिलोगे? उन रिलेटिव से. So Buddha visited Sarnath first and he gave his first sermon. Clear? Now this is the third event. Enlightenment is the third event. That is Nirvana. And the symbol is Bodhi tree. Bodhi tree. And then Buddha visited Sarnath. And in Sarnath, he got 5 disciples. And Buddha gave them first sermon. First sermon. Now, first sermon, in first sermon, he talked about 4 noble truths. 4 noble truths, which is also called as Arya Satya. The first is that the world is full of sorrow, which is called as dukkha. Clear? Then he also said that there are causes of sorrow. Causes of sorrow. Now, what are the causes of sorrow? The causes of sorrow: ignorance, hatred, then jealousy. Clear? These are the बहुत सारी चीजें. Clear? Ignorance, hatred, jealousy, etc. Clear? Then these sorrows can be conquered. Or can be suppressed. So, how to suppress these sorrows? By adopting nirvana. Nirvana. and then how to follow the path. Then he said, for that you have to follow Ashtangika Marg. Ashtangika Marg, that is eightfold path. Right meditation, right concentration, right knowledge, right faith, right conduct, right action. Clear? 8 paths. This much is clear to all of you. Now this event, first sermon event, is considered as fourth event in Buddhism, which is called as Dharma Chakra Parivartan. Dharma Chakra Parivartan. And the symbol is chakra, having 8 spokes. 8 spokes represent eightfold path of Buddhism. So this is called as Dhamma Chakra. In Pali language, Dharma is called as Dhamm. So it is called as Dhamma Chakra. And Buddha has given his sermon in Pali language. Pali was the language of common people. So together with 5 disciples, he created a Buddhist community called as Sangh. Getting my point? Without food. Clear? This much is clear to all of you. Now Buddhism is focused on the law of karma. Clear? It is focused on the law of karma. So when his disciple asked that, do you believe in God? Buddha was silent. He never said anything. Now these kind of questions will be asked in UPSC Prelims examination. वो ये सब नहीं पूछेगा, ये तो सभी को पता है. Clear? So remember this thing. Buddha rejected the Vedic authority. But in Jainism, they recognize the existence of God, but after their guru. For them, guru is important and then God. But in Buddhism, Buddha was silent. Getting my point? So from here only you will get 3 Ratna in Jainism. Three Ratna, 3 gems in Jainism. The first is Buddha. Buddha means awakened one. Second important thing is Dhamm, teachings of Buddha. And the third is Sangh, community. Draw these things. Clear, everyone? And then Buddha started traveling at several places. Buddha also became the political advisor of Harenka ruler, that is Bimbisar. Getting my point? And then Buddha visited other places like Shravasti. Then Buddha visited Rajgriha, the capital of Patliput, the capital of Magad. Clear? And last he was in Kushinagar. So at the age of 80, that is in 483 BC, he died at Kushinagar, UP. Now this event, death, is the last event in Buddhism. This event, that is 5th event, death. Symbol is stupa. So this is called as Mahaparinirvan. Mahaparinirvan. Clear? Mahaparinirvan. Clear? Now write down. Clear? What was the name of the horse of Buddha? Kantak. You can just mention. Kantak was the horse of Buddha. Kantaka. Kantak was the horse of Buddha. Death? Natural death. Natural death. Clear? So write down in Buddhism. Siddhartha at the age of 29 left his home and became Parivarajak. Parivarajak means homeless vendor. Parivarajak, homeless wanderer. Homeless wanderer. Full stop. He started to follow Shramana tradition. That is saintly tradition. He started to follow Shramana tradition. Shramana tradition. Full stop. After some point of time, he found a teacher, Alara Kalma, comma, after learning from him, Siddharth again started to wander at the age of 35. Wander, comma, at the age of 35, he reached to the village Uruvela. Uruvela is in Bodh Gaya. Okay, he reached to the village Uruvela, which is in Bodh Gaya. Uruvela village, Bodh Gaya, where on the banks of river Niranjana. Today it is called as Falgu River. River Niranjana, Falgu River, under a peepal tree, Niranjana, bracket Falgu River, under a peepal tree, bracket Bodhi tree, he started meditation. Full stop. In the midnight of 49th day, of meditation, 49th day of meditation, Siddharth achieved Nirvan. Nirvan means, that is, he extinguished the flame of desire. You can just mention in the bracket, he extinguished the flame of desire. Full stop. After achieving nirvana, the followers of Buddha, call, or the followers of Siddhartha started calling him as Buddha. The followers of Siddhartha started calling him as Buddha. He is also called as Tathagat. Tathagat means the person who knows the cause and cure of misery. You can just mention the person who knows the cause and cure of misery. Cause and cure of misery. Then Buddha visited Sarnath. At Deer Park in Sarnath. He gave first sermon to his 5 disciples. And those sermon became four noble truths in Buddhism. Those sermon became four noble truths. So the first noble truth was dukkha. That is, world is full of sorrow. Second noble truth was cause and causes of sorrow. That is samudaya, dukh samudaya. So this is also called as dukh samudaya. Third is sorrows can be suppressed. So he showed a thing, that is dukkha nirodh. And the last, the path, Ashtangika Marg. That is eightfold path. So now write down eightfold path. That is Ashtangika Marg. Right vision, right speech, right conduct, right means of livelihood, right vision, right speech, right means of livelihood, right meditation, right conduct, then right exercises, right concentration, right awareness about oneself, and right deep meditation. Eightfold paths. Clear? Now Buddha said that after my death, no one is going to create my idol. But when Mahayana Buddhism came, idol worship was started. Getting my point? So Buddhism showed the path of knowledge actually. But later, when foreign influence was there in post-modern period, then Buddhism has taken the form of bhakti. Clear? And idol worship. So idol worship in India was not introduced by Indians. It was introduced by the foreigners. Because in Greeks, there was a concept of idol worship, Greek gods like Apollo. So जब तुम बुद्धा की इमेज देखोगे, it looks similar as Apollo. Later, idol worship. It seems that history हमेशा यही लिखती है. It seems that the signs of idol worship was there, but there is no evidence. First Buddhist temple in India, temples were created by Buddhists. Idol worship started by Buddhists. And holy cow, mother cow, this title was also first given by the Buddhists only. Getting my point? In Rig Vedic Mandal 4, it is written that Brahmins used to consume cow meat in Rig Vedic period. But cow was calculated in terms of wealth. So the wealth of merchants and Shudras started increasing because they followed Buddhism. That is why when Buddhism said that mother cow, then Brahmins also started propagating the same. And from Mahayana Buddhism, Brahmins were influenced and they started the philosophy called as theory of incarnation. So these things we will be studying in postmodern. Clear? Just go through it once. So, who was the first disciple of Buddha? Mahakashyap. Write down. Mahakashyap was the first disciple of Buddha. Mahakashyap was the first disciple of Buddha who became his student at the age of 5. Who became his student at the age of 5. And the first who was influenced by Buddhism was Ajatashatru. That is why Ajatashatru, after the death of Buddha, convened first Buddhist council. Getting my point? Write down. The first king who was influenced by Buddhism or the teachings of Buddha was Ajatashatru and King Prasenjit of Koshala. Ajatashatru and King Prasenjit of Koshala. Write down. The first king who followed or influenced by Buddhism or the teachings of Buddha was Ajatashatru of Magad and King Prasenjit of Koshala.